Let's get started with our first news. Israel Adesanya believes that Tom Aspinall's upcoming fight against Gane should actually be considered his second title defense. During a recent discussion, Israel explained why he thinks Tom deserves more credit for his previous fights and how the situation mirrors his own career back in 2019. He reminded fans that when he defeated Kelvin Gastelum to capture the interim middleweight title, it was no easy task. It was a war. Later, when he fought Robert Whittaker to unify the belts, he felt that victory should have counted as a title defense, even though it was technically for unification. According to Israel, Tom is in that same position now. In his last outing, Tom defended his interim title against Curtis Blades, scoring a devastating first-round knockout while John Jones still held the undisputed belt. Now that Tom is recognized as the official heavyweight champion, Israel argues that his previous defense shouldn't just be ignored. Interim or not, he said, he's always been the champion. Israel passionately continued, saying the whole debate about interim status has become meaningless. This whole thing bugs me, he admitted. You can't just discredit Tom's title defenses because they happened under an interim label. He's got one already, and he earned it. He even called on his co-host Luca to pull up the definition of the word interim, emphasizing how the term doesn't make a fighter's accomplishment any less legitimate. So what, Israel added, are we going to discredit all of Tom's work just because it wasn't for the undisputed belt? Come on. Israel wrapped up by recalling his own belt from his middleweight reign. My belt has a lot of rubies on it, he said with pride. Each one represents a defense. So if anyone wants to say my unification fight didn't count, come take one away. For Israel, a champion is a champion, no matter the label, and in his eyes, Tom Aspinall has already defended his title once. This weekend in Abu Dhabi will simply be the next step in proving it. Move on to another news. Tom Aspinall believes people are seriously underestimating Gane ahead of their massive heavyweight title clash this weekend. Despite entering the fight as a heavy favorite, Tom insists that Gane deserves far more respect than he's been getting. Speaking ahead of UFC 321, the reigning heavyweight champion opened up about his preparation, his mindset, and why this matchup will be unlike anything the heavyweight division has ever seen. Tom explained that he's made major improvements since his last outing, where he scored a dominant first-round TKO win over Curtis Blades. I've made some big improvements in my game, he said. I look forward to testing all that in a live combat situation. Training is one thing, but stepping inside that octagon again, it's a completely different feeling. This fight will also carry a special emotional weight for Tom. Despite having competed in Abu Dhabi before, he said this will feel like the first time truly soaking in the energy of the crowd. It's been over a year since I felt that live energy, he shared. I can't wait to feel the fans, the emotions, everything that comes with it. I'm very excited about it. Tom went on to say that he's in the best shape of his life, both physically and mentally. Every fighter says it, but I really mean it, he admitted. This training camp has been something I'm proud of. Everything's gone fantastic. No injuries, no setbacks. I've put in the work even when I didn't feel like it. I've gone above and beyond, and now I feel great. Still, Tom isn't taking Gane lightly. He acknowledged that many fans are overlooking the French contender because of his last performance, but he thinks that's unfair. A lot of people are overlooking him, and I think it's unfair, Tom said. He's been around the top level for a long time, just like me. He's a very good fighter, and I know he'll bring his best this time. I'm bringing mine too, and we'll see who comes out on top. Tom praised Gane's elite defense, movement, and athleticism. He doesn't get hit much, he noted. He's big, fast, and athletic. So am I. This fight is going to be something we've not really seen before at heavyweight. Two huge, explosive guys moving at speed and throwing shots that heavyweights don't usually throw. As always, Tom's goal remains clear. If you're asking what I hope the fight looks like, he said with a smile, it involves me walking across the cage and knocking him out in 10 seconds. Do I think that'll happen? Probably not, but I just have to keep showing that I'm the best heavyweight in the world. Move on to another news. Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo are both predicting Tom Aspinall to defeat Gane in their upcoming heavyweight title fight. During a recent discussion on their podcast, the two former champions broke down the matchup and explained why they believe Tom has the edge going into UFC 321. Henry started by acknowledging Tom's incredible power, but raised an important concern about his experience in longer fights. My biggest question for Tom, Henry said, is has he ever gone 3 or 5 full rounds? His biggest weapon is his knockout power, but sometimes that can also burn you out. You remember when Ngannou fought Stipe Miocic the first time? It was a completely different fight. Ngannou was so used to knocking people the hell out that when he finally faced someone who could evade, wrestle, and use tactics, it changed everything. However, Henry believes that Gane doesn't possess that same kind of wrestling threat. I just don't think Gane has that wrestling ability to really make Tom uncomfortable, he added. For that reason, I'm going with Tom Aspinall. Kamaru agreed with Henry, but added his own perspective on the matchup. I'm going to second that, Henry, Kamaru said. But if there's a guy in the heavyweight division who could possibly beat Tom, it's Gane. He's on the short list of the best all-around athletes in the UFC right now. His movement, his striking, his fight IQ, it's all elite. Still, both men leaned toward the champion when it came time to make an actual prediction. Henry went first, saying, "If you're asking me to make a damn prediction, I'll go Tom, maybe by finish in the later rounds. I'm not calling a first round knockout, but I can definitely see him breaking Gane down over time and finishing him late." Kamaru laughed and agreed, pointing out the danger that comes with heavyweight power. "I've got my eye on this one," he said, "because it's heavyweight. We're not talking about flyweights or bantamweights here. We're talking about heavyweights with real power. When those gloves touch, it only takes one shot. That's what makes this division so crazy. One touch and it's NyQuil for anybody." Both legends concluded that while Gane is a phenomenal athlete and one of the most technical heavyweights alive, Tom's mix of power, speed, and composure makes him the man to beat right now. In their eyes, Aspinall is simply too sharp, too confident, and too dangerous heading into UFC 321. Move on to another news. Renato Moicano has made it clear that if Nasrat Haqparast wins his upcoming fight at UFC 321 and decides to call him out, he'll accept the challenge without hesitation, because in his words, Nasrat is easy money. Moicano, who's set to face Quillan Sakil this weekend, didn't hold back during his interview, confidently predicting what's about to happen once the event wraps up. "They put Naz versus that guy Quillan Sakil on the prelims," Moicano said with a grin. "Naz is gonna win, he's gonna call me out for sure, and then I'm going to accept it. Because he's easy money, brother." Moicano went on to joke about how Nasrat loves to make videos and stir up reactions online. "He's gonna make another video," he said, laughing. "He's always doing that, always making videos, always going live, trying to get attention. But it's all good. I take it, bro. Let's go. I'll fight him. I don't care." During the conversation, Moicano's team chimed in, mentioning how Nasrat's followers flood their comment sections every time something gets posted about him. "Yeah, he gets all his followers to comment on our stuff, bro," one of them said, to which Moicano replied with amusement. "That's just how he is. His whole audience is like that. He's from Afghanistan, bro. What do you expect?" Despite the jokes, Moicano made it clear he respects Nasrat as a fighter, but still believes the matchup favors him heavily. "He's good. He's tough," Moicano admitted, "but he's not on my level. I'm too smart, too technical, too experienced. That fight for me is a payday. It's easy money." He also doubled down on his focus heading into UFC 321, saying he's not underestimating his current opponent, but already knows what comes next if things go his way. "First, I take care of business this weekend. Then if Naz wins and starts talking, I'll be ready. I'll take that fight right away. Let's make it happen. I'm not afraid of anybody." Moicano's confidence was on full display, and he ended with a smile, clearly relishing the idea of a fiery buildup with Nasrat. "He's going to make his video, I'll make mine, and then we'll settle it in the cage," he said. "Simple as that. It's fight business, and for me, it's easy money." Move on to another news. UFC President Dana White has officially confirmed that the organization has not yet decided on what's next for lightweight champion Ilia Topuria. Despite recent reports suggesting a possible matchup between Ilia and Paddy Pimblett in January 2026 at UFC 324, Dana made it clear that nothing has been finalized. Speaking to reporters this week, Dana explained that while the fight between Ilia and Paddy is something fans would love to see, the UFC hasn't locked in any plans yet. "We're always exploring a lot of different things," he said. "Obviously, it's a fun fight. People would like to see that. But as of right now, no, we haven't made that fight. We're still trying to figure out what's next for Topuria." Ilya is coming off one of the most impressive performances of his career earlier this year at UFC 317. In June, he faced former lightweight champion Charles Oliveira and delivered a stunning first-round knockout to capture the UFC lightweight title. With that win, Ilya extended his undefeated record to a perfect 17-0, solidifying himself as one of the most dominant fighters in the sport today. Many fans and analysts began speculating that Ilya's first title defense could be against Paddy Pimblett, given their long-standing rivalry and history of verbal exchanges. The two have traded words multiple times over the years, building anticipation for what would be one of the most talked about fights in recent memory. However, Dana's latest comments have poured cold water on those rumors. For now, "We like the idea of big fights, fun fights, fights that get people talking," Dana said, and that one definitely does. But the truth is, there are still a lot of moving parts. We've got to look at timing, we've got to look at availability, and of course, we've got to see how everything lines up for the rest of the division. For Ilya, the options remain wide open. Some fans have called for a rematch with Charles Oliveira, while others are pushing for contenders like Arman, or even a potential super fight with featherweight names if the UFC wants to explore crossover matchups. Whatever the case, Dana emphasized that the UFC wants to make the right move for the champion and the division. As it stands, Ilya remains the undefeated lightweight king, waiting for his next big challenge. And whether it's Paddy or someone else, one thing's for sure, the world will be watching when the champion returns. Move on to another news. Umar Nurmagomedov has fired back at Ilia Topuria after the lightweight champion took shots at Islam Makhachev during the UFC 321 press conference. Ilya made headlines when he claimed that once Islam loses to JDM, his career will be destroyed and he'll have to go back to his farm to herd sheep. The comment quickly spread across social media, and it didn't take long for Umar to respond with a calm but powerful message. Speaking to reporters, Umar said that arrogance and pride often lead to downfall, and he believes Ilya's attitude will eventually catch up with him. "You know," Umar began, "Manny Pacquiao once said that any fighter who talks down on others will eventually be the one who gets brought down in the ring. Those words mean something. When you speak with that kind of pride, life has a way of humbling you." Umar didn't shy away from addressing Ilya's jab about Islam's farm life either. "We could easily match his energy," Umar said firmly. "We could say that if he loses, he can go back to the store and start selling clothes again, or whatever he used to do before fighting. But there's no reason to bring ourselves down to that level." He went on to explain that Islam's life on the farm isn't something to mock, it's simply part of who he is. With or without being a champion, Islam has a farm, he has his sheep there, he enjoys doing that kind of work, Umar said. "It has nothing to do with fighting, it's something separate that brings peace and balance to his life. So when Ilya mocks that, he's showing a lack of understanding and respect." Umar emphasized that his team doesn't believe in trash talk or arrogance as a path to greatness. "We don't act like that," he said. "We were raised on respect, discipline, and humility. That's what makes us strong. You can be confident without being disrespectful." He closed by saying that while Ilya may be the champion now, the way he carries himself could eventually cost him more than just a fight. "Arrogance blinds people," Umar stated. "He's a great fighter, but every great fighter who walks around with pride eventually learns a hard lesson, and when that day comes, he'll understand the meaning of humility." Meanwhile, Paddy Pimblett, who's also been linked to a future fight with Ilya, last competed in April at UFC 314 against Michael Chandler, securing a third-round TKO victory to improve his record to 23 wins and 3 losses. Move on to another news. Dana White is not happy with Tom Aspinall's recent comments about possibly vacating his heavyweight title. The UFC boss reacted strongly after hearing Tom say he'd rather give up the belt than fight his close friend and training partner, Ante Delija. Delija recently made his UFC debut last month and scored a first-round knockout win over Marcin Tybura, instantly earning a spot in the heavyweight top 10. During an interview, Tom explained his thoughts on the situation, saying that his friendship with Delija means more to him than any title or amount of money. "So my friend and training partner just got to the UFC. He just got his first win and now he's in the top 10. That's insane, right? You get your debut win and you beat a guy in the top 10. Amazing. So now he's like 2 or 3 wins away from a potential title shot," Tom said. He went on, "If I had never touched gold, if I had never won a title, I'd fight him." That's my dream, to become champion, but now that I've done it, if the time ever came, I'd vacate the title. I wouldn't fight him, no chance. He's one of my genuine friends, and for me, there are things in life that mean more than money and titles. I've already done what I set out to do. I've achieved that, so I'd rather let him have his time. Tom added that he still has a lot left to accomplish in his career, but doesn't see the need to fight someone he considers family. I've still got more to do, he said, but when he's up there, I'll step aside and let him have his moment. I'm happy with that. When Dana White was shown the clip of Tom's comments during an interview with TNT Sports, he didn't hold back his reaction. "You know what I think about that before you even ask me. I hate that," Dana said bluntly. "Many friends, relatives, you name it, have fought each other before. Whether you like or hate the person, this is competition. You're supposed to find out who the best in the world is." He continued, "When you become a world champion, you defend the title, you fight whoever's next. To even think about vacating it because you don't want to compete against somebody, that's absolutely insane. But at the end of the day, he's a grown man, that's his decision. If that's how he wants to handle it, that's on him." Dana's message was clear. Friendship or not, the UFC is about competition, and champions fight whoever's in front of them.